We're going to begin the worm compost experiment now. Over the next 16 days, you're going to observe earthworms and red wiggle worms composting. Let's see which one is better. I had to go to Bellevue Park to pick up some red wiggle worms. Clearly, this was before I found my scientist outfit. However, I knew I needed to get this started right away. I took some soil from my backyard, added a little bit of humus to it, and then put worms in 2 different containers and kept one clear as a control group. Yes, I have found my science jacket, and I also have my safety goggles on. Worms do need to eat, and there's not going to be enough just in a plastic container. So what I've done is made some of my own compost. This was some carrots, some eggshells, and I believe a little bit of strawberry in there too. I blended it just to make it a little bit easier for the worms to break up since we didn't have as much time. Every day I cover the worms up with a box because they like it dark.
All aboard! This is the Compost Express.
So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is not really a train. I'm just trying to make it fun for my son who is observing us a little bit. But what we have is a compost bin, and we've been learning a lot about soil. We've been learning about worms and their magnificent job and how helpful they are to us. And we are now putting together a compost bin. There are 3 sections to this bin. Inside, and the following video, you'll see how I put it together. But it's just soil from my backyard. So soil in 3 different sections. And then I added on this side regular earthworms. Now, from what I read, earthworms are not great at composting. They do compost, they do break down remains that are left in the yard, whether they're organic from like a tree or whether they're animal remains. They will break it down, but they're slower at it. On this side, I put red wiggle worms. Red wiggle worms are supposed to be the experts of worms in composting and do a magnificent job from what I've heard, and are a lot faster than our everyday earthworms we find in our backyard. So earthworms on this side, red wiggle worms on this side, and in the middle I did put a little less dirt. This is our control group. There are no worms in this compost. So this is just regular soil from my backyard. I'm filming this video probably 5 days or so after I started our experiment. On the second day, after putting the dirt and the worms in, I also added some compost from my house, which was made up of basically carrots and strawberries. I blended it to make it a little bit easier, and then I poured a little bit on the red wiggle worm side, I poured a little in the control group, and I poured some on the earthworm side. I will admit I put less in the control, knowing that there was not a creature in here that was going to help break down, and I didn't really want it to get too stinky. So this is the control, red wiggle worm, earthworm. And the only other thing that I'm adding is about once a day, when I come out here and I take a picture of any developments, I am adding a little bit of water. We know that earthworms need water to survive. And if they get too dry, they're gonna shrivel up. So I am adding water. Aside from that, nothing else. If I do add anything going forward, if I see that one of these groups is eating a lot and composting really fast, I may have to add a little bit more food for them. If I do, I will let you know. So here you go. This is our compost, and we're gonna be observing every day. Right now, I want you to go ahead and make a prediction. Who do you think is gonna compost better? Red wiggle worms, earthworms? Do you think it's gonna be about the same? Or do you think there's gonna be no difference than our control group? Go ahead and let me know now. I'm gonna cover these friends up. Worms do not like the light. And for them to work and to get to the surface and to break anything down, if we have any hope of that, they need to be covered. They like to work in the dark. Have a great day. Happy observing. In the next few pictures, really observe the soil. You can see on the right-hand side where it's the earthworms, it's a more brown soil. That's about what it looked like when I took it out of the ground. On the other side, the red wiggle worms is a real deep, dark, almost black soil.